everyone, it's time for Math with Mrs. R. Okay, if any of you guys want to make me a math intro, like a math intro video and send it to me, I will use it on all of my videos. Okay, today we are starting a new topic. We are going to talk about measurement, and we're only going to spend a little bit of time on it this week, and then we're going to move on to something else. But if you go ahead and get your Wednesday packet, in the back of it, there's a couple different math sheets. So go ahead and rip it apart. You will see your math lesson, which we're going to do today. The other thing you have in this packet is your vocabulary cards. And we set these home because this is going to be really helpful if you're struggling with measurement, or even if you're not, just to know the different things. So if you ever get confused about what an inch is, or a foot, or what the length is, or yard, or any of these, they're right here. So keep this with your math stuff, keep this with your papers, because this might help you if you ever get stuck. All right, let's go ahead and let's do our math today. You might notice that when you pull out your paper, it says 12-3 at the top, and it's supposed to. Like I said in the intro, we're not going to spend a ton of time on this unit, so our Mrs. Cooley and I have chosen just a few lessons that we feel like we want you to do. Also, before we begin, if you have a ruler, will you please go get that for us? We are going to be using our ruler today. On the ruler, you have one side, if you can see it, which has inches. That's those numbers that are spread apart. And you will notice that there are 12 inches here on this one ruler. And then if I flip it over to the other side, gotta move my coffee, you will see a bunch of little numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And these are centimeters, and there are 30 centimeters in a ruler. If you don't have one of these, would you email Mrs. Cooley or myself, and we'll make sure we'll bring yours, put yours in your packet, your ruler at school. Okay, let's look at our page today. It says, which objects in the classroom are about 1 inch, about 1 foot, and about 1 yard? Well, you're not at school, you're at home. So what I want you to do is I want you to look around the classroom. I want you to look around your room or wherever you're doing your work, and I want you to see what objects would be about an inch long, okay? An inch is about this long. I'm gonna draw it for you on your paper. So I'm looking for things that are about this big. Go ahead, I want you to choose 3 things that are about that long in your room. Okay, the next one says about a foot. Well, a foot is about the size of this ruler, not about, it is 12 inches here. I want you to look around wherever you're working right now and see, okay, what items might be the size of this ruler? Go ahead, I want you to choose at least 3. All right, and then the next one says about 1 yard. If I put 3 of these rulers down, let's see if I can lift this up. If I put 3 of these down, so 1, then I'd have another one and another one. So it's pretty long, probably the length of like your school desk. What objects where you're working are about 3 of these? Go ahead, I want you to find 3 things that are about 3 feet long. If you have a ruler, you can go ahead and take it and kind of see, but I want 3 things that are about 1 yard long, which is 3 feet. Go ahead and flip it over to the back. Because we are all in different places and we have different items in our house, I'm not gonna do the front with you, but I want 3 for each of those. 3 for an inch, 3 for a foot, and 3 for a yard. Let's look up here, a paper clip. That's about an inch. Pretty cool. This book or your paper, this paper right here, it's about a foot. Or think of like a baseball bat. A baseball bat is about 3 feet. If you have a measuring tape at home, maybe your mom sews, or she has a measuring tape, or your dad has a measuring tape that he uses for work, you can go ahead and take that and use that for some of those things. If you don't have anything like that, that is okay. I want you to look here though. It says, do you understand? Show me. It says, would you measure the length of a school building in inches or yards? Would you use a small inch to measure a school building, or would you use a yard to measure a school building? Yeah, we would use yard. Why? Well, we would use a yard because it would take less. If we used inches, we would be there all day. So we would want to use a yard because it would go faster. Okay, go ahead and put this on your paper as I'm putting it on mine. Let's look at the next step. It says match each object with a reasonable estimate of its length. An estimate is like a guess. For this hammer, would I measure this hammer in a yard, an inch, or a foot? Yeah, I would measure it in a foot. So go ahead and draw a line from the hammer to the foot. What about your paper clip? We've already used foot. Would I measure a paper clip with an inch or a yard? An inch. A yard would be way too big. Would I measure this door with a yard, an inch, or a foot? And lucky you, the right answer is the one that's left. A yard, because that would be the right measurement. All right, let's go on to the next page. All right, I'm not gonna do all of these with you, but I am gonna do the first one with you. What they want you to do is they first want you to estimate or guess what this would be, and then they want you to actually measure it and tell us what tool. Now, if you do not have a yardstick or a measuring tape, if you don't have a ruler, I just want you to do your best guess, okay? So some of us, if we don't have the right equipment, that's okay, you can just guess. If you do have the right equipment at home, I want you to measure these things. So the first is your pencil. Okay, I want you to look at your pencil, and I want you to guess. How many inches do you think that this pencil is? 4, 5, 6? I don't know. I'm gonna go with 5. So the first one is the guess, so I'm gonna put 5 inches. This is what I'm guessing. But now I'm actually going to measure it. So I'm gonna take my ruler, I'm gonna start with 0, I'm gonna lay it down, and really, really close. It's about 5.5 inches. If I wanted to round up, I could say that it's about 6. So 5.5 or 6 for me. If you have a pencil and a ruler at home, I want you to do this. So I'm gonna say 5.5 inches. And what tool did I use to measure that? I used a ruler. All right, I want you to go ahead and I want you to find a desk or a table. I'm gonna use the one that I am sitting at. And I want you to guess about how many feet wide is your desk. So from one end to the other, not height, width. I'm gonna guess mine's about 3 feet. What are you guessing yours is? You could do a kitchen table, you could do a nightstand, you could do any kind of table that you have in your house. It doesn't have to be this one. Once you've guessed, if you have a ruler, I want you to go ahead and measure it. If you don't have a ruler or a measuring tape, go ahead and take your dad or mom's shoe, and I want you to measure using their shoe. Okay, Mrs. R is measuring her table right now. 1, okay, 2, okay, 3. Oh, wow, okay. So my table is 3 feet and 4 inches. I could just say 3 feet. And I used a ruler, but I measured it in feet. Okay, I want you to go ahead and I want you to find a door. I want you to guess about how many yards that would be. If you don't have yards, guess in feet. And then I want you to measure it, okay? Again, if you don't have a yardstick, but you have a ruler, measure it in feet. If you don't have a ruler or a yardstick, take your parent's shoe and measure it in their feet. Okay, go ahead and do that for me. All right, let's look down at number 7. It says, explain how you could use a ruler, a foot ruler, a ruler that's a foot, to measure the length of a room. How do you think you could do that? How do you think you could do that? Well, could you put it down and put your finger to help you keep track and then start the next one? Could you do that? How else could you measure the length of a room in feet? Okay. So I said that you could put the ruler down and then you put something to mark where the ruler ends, and then you pick up the ruler and you place it on the other side of the marker and repeat this until you get to the end. If you agree with me, go ahead and pause and write what I have. If you don't agree with me and you found another way, go ahead and tell me. What other way could you measure the length of the room in your ruler feet? All right, let's turn it over to the back and let's look at number 8. It says, circle the real object that is about 4 feet in length. So if I were to put a ruler, 4 rulers against each other, that is 4 feet. So do you think a car would be 4 feet? Nah. Do you think a screw would be 4 feet? No. What about a pumpkin? No, a pumpkin might be 1 foot. Maybe even 2 feet if you had a really big one. What about a bike? Yeah, I think you're right. I think a bike would be about 4 feet in length. All right, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna skip number 9, so go ahead and cross that off. Let's look at number 10. It says, find an object in the classroom. Okay, well, we're not in class, so find an object at home that you think would be about 2 feet. So if you were to put 2 rulers in length with each other, we're talking about that long. So find an object that would be about 2 rulers or 2 feet and go ahead and draw that object for me. And when you're done, what did you use to measure it? How did you measure it? Maybe you didn't have what you wanted to measure it. Go ahead and write how you measured. Okay, number 11 says, John sets 2 of the same real objects next to each other. Together they have a length about 4 feet. Which is the object Jan uses? Okay, so I put 2 objects together and they have a length of about 4 feet. I'm looking for 2 of these objects put together that would be about 4 feet. Do you think a book and a baseball would be 4 feet? No. Do you think a book and a pencil would be 4 feet? No. Do you think a book and a table could be 4 feet? Yeah, I do. What about a baseball and a table? Would that be 4 feet? Probably not. What about a baseball and a pen? Would that be 4 feet? Probably not. What about a pen and a table? Would that be 4 feet? No. So I think our best guess is a book and a table.